Can you see the material?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you consider this lecture material to be the continuation of the previous one, then the number of the subsection should be 5. Okay, but I couldn't find the doc file. That's why I couldn't change it. Anyway, so how to solve the state equations? We have discussed very many forms of state models and the state equations, and we know that our ultimate objective is to solve the state equations so that we can find out, we can evaluate, we can see the complete time response of the system. That means xt, xt vis-a-vis t for all t greater than time t equal to t0, time t equal to 0, or time t equal to t0 if t0 is the initial time, right? So for that we'll have to solve the state equations, and we know that if the state equations are not in a particular form or not in a convenient form, then it's really very difficult to solve those, and hence we'll discuss solution of state equations. Okay. So in the preceding two sections, we discussed various state models used to represent a system. So in the present section, we shall develop methods for solution of the state equations from which system transient response, that means transient time response, can be obtained. So we shall restrict our discussion to linear time invariant systems only. Now, to obtain how to solve state equation and how can we obtain um, the relevant state transition matrix, what is actually meant by state transition matrix, that we'll learn in this lecture. Now, how to obtain the state transition matrix? For that, we have very many methods. Okay. Now, in this class, we'll discuss only two methods. So let's review the classical method of solution by considering a first order scalar differential equation, which is given by dx. Can you see the material?
Yes, ma'am.
So the first order scalar differential equation involving one single variable is given by dx dt is equal to ax. And the initial condition is x0. Here we have assumed that the initial time is equal to, the initial time t is equal to 0. So this is our initial condition. X at time t equal to 0 is x0. Now we can very easily solve this equation, and the solution is, xt will be equal to e to the power at into x0, where x0 is our initial condition. Now we can expand e to the power at, this one. So xt could be written like this: 1 plus at plus 1 by factorial 2 a square t square plus dot 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 1 by factorial I a I t I. So with the help of this infinite series, we can express e to the power at, and obviously xt will be this, all this into whole multiplied by x0, which is the initial condition, right? Now let's consider, and please look at this equation, and we'll find that this scalar first order differential equation is one homogeneous equation. So now let us consider the state equation where x is the state vector. X is the state vector having n number of components like x1, x2, xn. And the state equation in a compact form can be written like x dot t is equal to axt, or this can be written as dxt dt, where xt is a column vector. So dxt dt is equal to axt, and the initial condition is satisfied. Initial condition is given as x0. This is also a column vector. X0 equal to x0. This is also a column vector. Clear? So this equation, equation number 53, actually represents in a composite form a set of homogeneous linear equations, and this actually represents a linear system, an unforced system whose dynamic behavior is described by this set of a number of first order homogeneous differential equations. Now, by analogy, we can assume that the solution xt for this equation x dot is equal to axt, the solution, look at this equation, and from analogy we can claim that the solution xt will be equal to a0 plus a1t plus a2t square plus dot ai.
Just to plot a series.
Hello? T to the power I. Please correct this one. It will be ai t to the power I. Now, please note that all these coefficients a0, a1, a2, ai, all these are vector coefficients. So, a0, a1, a2, all these are column vectors having a dimension n by 1, right? Now, what is our basic equation? Write down x dot t is equal to axt. Please write down the equation, this one. X dot t is equal to axt. So, if we assume this to be the solution xt, then x dot t will be a1 plus twice a2t. So, a1 plus twice a2t plus thrice a3t square plus dot other terms, higher order terms, right? And we know that the basic equation is x dot is equal to axt. So the left hand side should be equal to a into xt, where xt is a0 plus a1t plus a2t square and other terms. Have you understood this equation? Okay. So now let's compare the coefficients. So the comparison of vector coefficients of equal power of t is, you see, a1, this a1 will be equal to a into capital A into a0. Agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, coefficient of this term t to the power 1. In the left hand side, the coefficient is twice a2, and in the right hand side, it is A into A1. Remember here A is one n by n matrix and that is the system matrix. So A into A1. So A2 will be half 1 by 2 into A1. Now, already we have seen that A1 is equal to A into A0. So, if we put this value of A1 in this equation, then we'll get A2 is equal to 1 by factorial 2 S square into A0. So if you proceed like this, just try to find out A3 and A4 and then we'll get the pattern, and from that we can write AI to be equal to 1 by factorial I A to the power I into A0. So if we assume the initial condition to be x at time t equal to 0 equal to x0, then let's go back to this equation. When time t equal to 0, then x0, the initial condition, will be given by this vector coefficient a0 because all other terms will be 0. Will be 0, this term will be 0, this term will be 0. So the initial condition will be given by this column vector only. So x0 will be equal to a0, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So a0, this vector coefficient will give us the initial condition x0. So this a0 is nothing but x0. This a0 is nothing but x0. This a0 is nothing but x0. So now we can collect all these terms and we can write that the solution vector xt here, if you substitute a0, a1, a2 by these values, then we'll get the solution xt to be equal to 1 plus at. Do you want to write down this equation? Have you noticed? I guess it will be easy to. Please correct it. This will be t to the power I. So xt will be, let's take a0 common, then the solution xt can be written as 1 plus at plus 1 by factorial 2 s square to square plus dot 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 plus 1 by factorial I aiti plus other terms multiplied by a0. Please check whether we can write the solution vector in this form or not. Okay, now you compare this equation with this one, with this one. So what is this? E to the power at, where a is a scalar, a is some constant. So because of the similarity, this infinite series can be represented as e to the power capital AT, where capital A is a matrix having a dimension n by n. Okay, that's why this e to the power capital AT is called or is known as matrix exponential. So we get our matrix exponential e to the power AT, and e to the power AT will be equal to 1 plus AT plus 1 by factorial 2 s square. Here in this expression, you see all the coefficients. This A is a matrix having a dimension n by n. A square is again a matrix having a dimension n by n, right? AI is a matrix and the matrix will have a dimension n by n. So the coefficients are matrices. So now the solution can be written as the solution xt. This is a vector. Xt can be written as e to the power at into x0. What is our x0? X0 is the initial state, isn't it? The state of the system at time t equal to 0. Agree? So this is our initial state, and this is some final state at time t is equal to t, right? And we want to observe the state of the system at some time t is equal to t, right? So we may call that this is our final state which we want to observe. Okay, so this operator, which is nothing but a matrix exponential, this operator is actually instrumental in transferring the initial state of the system to any state, at time t is equal to t. You get my point? So that means this matrix exponential e to the power at is the cause of transition of the state of the system from some initial state to some final state. Okay. I repeat, this e to the power at is actually instrumental in for transition of a state at some time t equal to 0 to some time t equal to t. So that's why this e to the power at is called a state transition matrix. So let's go through this point. So from this equation, it's observed that the initial state x0 at time t equal to 0 is driven to a state xt at time t. So this transition in state is carried out by the matrix exponential e to the power at. So because of this property, e to the power at is known as state transition matrix, and is often denoted by the symbol phi t. So phi t will be equal to e to the power at for a given state model. This A for a generic nth order state model, this A will be an n by n matrix, and the matrix is the system matrix of the system, right? So this e to the power at, if we can compute e to the power at, and if we know the initial state, then we'll be able to find out any state of the system at some time t is equal to t. So that's why this matrix is called state transition matrix and is denoted by phi t. So if we can compute e to the power at, then our purpose will be served. Is that clear? Function has been applied to the system, that means there is some input to the system, then how can we obtain the state transition matrix? Because it's clear that so far what we have discussed, from that it's apparent that if we can find out the state transition matrix, then we'll be able to solve the state equation, or in other words, we'll be able to find out xt. So let's consider our state equation, and now our system is a non-homogeneous system, or in other words, a forced system, and this is the input to the system ut. So the state equation will be x dot t is equal to axt plus but, and again it's clear that we are considering only linear time invariant system, and x0, the initial condition is specified as x0 is equal to x0. This is a column vector. So x0 means time t equal to 0. So initial time is 0. So now we can write this equation as x dot t minus axt, and in the right hand side we'll have only but. Now let's multiply this equation, both the sides, with this term e to the power minus at, e to the power minus at. So what will be the resulting equation? E to the power minus at into x dot t minus e to the power minus at into axt will be equal to e to the power minus at into but. So this is, the left hand side will be e to the power minus at x dot t minus axt whole multiplied by e to the power minus at, and in the right hand side we'll get e to the power minus at into but. And look at this left hand side. So the first term is e to the power minus at x dot t. So we can write this left hand side as ddt of e to the power minus at into xt. So if we write this, then what will be the first term? The first term will be e to the power minus at into x dot t. So this is the term. And the second term will be e to the power minus at into a into xt. Am I right?
Minus m.
Minus, yes. If you have any confusion, do it.
No, ma'am, no confusion.
So that means if we multiply this equation, both the sides of the equation, by e to the power minus at, then the left hand side can be written as ddt of e to the power minus at into xt. We can write this in this form. Yes or no? Yes or no? side is e to the power minus 80 but, right? Now we are trying to solve this equation. So that means we'll have to perform integration. So if we perform integration, then this term will be e to the power minus 80 xt, and the limits will be 0 and t. This is the lower limit and this is the upper limit. Okay. And the right hand side will be equal to integration 0 to t e to the power minus a tau, since the upper limit is t. So within the integration sign, the variable has been converted to tau. So e to the power minus a tau bu tau d tau. Clear? Clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
So now the left hand side can again be written as, for this upper limit t, this will be e to the power minus 80 xt, and when t will be equal to 0, this term will be 1, so this one will be simply x0. So e to the power minus 80 xt minus x0 will be equal to integration 0 to t e to the power minus a tau bu tau d tau. Now what we'll do? Again, we'll multiply this equation, both the sides of this equation, by this term e to the power 80. So if we do so, then the first term will be simply xt e to the power 80 into e to the power minus 80. So this term will reduce to xt. Now if we perform side transposition, then this term will be e to the power 80 into x0. So the first term in the right hand side will be e to the power 80 into x0, where x0 is the column vector denoting the initial conditions. Okay, and the second term will be plus, the second term will be integration 0 to t e to the power 80 into e to the power minus a tau, right? So we'll get a term which is e to the power 80 minus tau into bu tau d tau. Clear? বোঝা গেছে?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this first term, this is the response of the system, complete response of the system at time t is equal to t, right? So this part of this response is homogeneous solution, natural response, and this is called the forced response, response of the system because of the presence of this input function ut, right? If the input is 0, that means the system will be an autonomous system, and the system behavior will be described by a set of homogeneous equations, and the solution will be xt is equal to e to the power 80 into x0, that we have already seen. So this is the natural response of the system, and this is the forced response of the system. Why forced response? Because now the forcing function u is present. Because of the presence of the forcing function, the system will exhibit this response, right? And since it's a linear system, hence the natural response and the forced response will give us the complete response of the system at time t equal to t. Now, if we assume that the initial state is known at some time t is equal to t0, The initial time is not 0, but instead it's some time when the value of t is equal to t0. Then the solution becomes xt is equal to e to the power at minus t0, xt0 in place of 0, now it will be t0, and the limit of integration will change from t0 to t, and this will remain same, e to the power at minus tau bu tau d tau. So this is the solution if the initial time is 0, and this is the solution if the initial time is not 0, but it's some t0. So you see, the transition of state does not depend exactly on the initial time, but instead the transition of state depends on the time difference t minus t0, this time difference. Now, properties of state transition matrix. So phi t already we, I've introduced this particular notation. Phi t is our state transition matrix e to the power at, and phi t minus t0 is our e a t minus t0, where t0 is the initial time. So as I said, the state transition matrix depends upon t minus t0. T0 is conveniently regarded as 0. Now, certain useful properties I'm not explaining, I'm showing you the properties. These are pretty simple. You can just verify all these properties. I'll send you the material. So, phi 0, that means t is equal to 0, will be equal to e to the power a into 0, so it will be 1. Okay. So, phi t is equal to e to the power at, will be equal to e to the power minus at to the power minus 1. So, phi minus t to the power minus 1. And phi inverse t will be equal to phi minus t. You can always verify this. These are very simple relations. And phi t1 plus t2 will be equal to e to the power a into t1 plus t2. So that will be e to the power at1 into e to the power at2. That means phi t1 into phi t2 or phi t2 into phi t1. And in terms of the state transition matrix, the solution could be written in this form: xt is equal to phi t into x0 when the initial time t is equal to 0. So phi t into x0 plus 0 to t phi t minus tau bu tau d tau. Only e to the power at has been substituted by phi t. And if the initial time t is equal to not 0, but instead it's t0, then xt will be equal to phi t minus t0. xt0, remember initially here we had a term which is e to the power a t minus t0. So that has been substituted by this term phi t minus t0, xt0 plus integration t0 to t phi t minus tau bu tau d tau. So an example, a 2 by 2, a second order system, okay, and this is our system matrix. This is our system matrix, and the input has been specified to be unit step occurring at time t equal to t0, and the initial condition is given x transpose 0 is equal to 1 0. That means x0 will be the column vector, the first element will be 1 and the second element will be 0. Right? Now, in a straightforward manner, we'll try to solve it, but for finding out state transition matrix, please don't follow this particular method. Okay. So this method may not converge. In most of the time, this if you apply this method, the series will not converge, or you will not be able to uh, anticipate which particular series is this one. For this particular example, yes, to some extent we can anticipate what is the nature of the series. Okay. So this is our system matrix, and this is the input matrix B. So we know that e to the power 80 is 1 plus 80 plus 1 by factorial 2 a square t square, etc., and the other terms. So let's compute this term a square a into a, and if you compute a square, this matrix will have elements 1 0 2 1. I'm not sure about the values. So e to the power 80, we know that now the first term will be the identity matrix, 2 by 2 identity matrix. Okay, so e to the power 80 is in a straightforward manner we are trying to compute. So identity matrix, 2 by 2 identity matrix, so 1 1 0 0 plus 80. So what is the value of a? This is a into t, so that will be t 0 tt. Can you follow? This one will be 2t square, and this is t square. So this matrix, identity matrix, plus 80 plus half is square t square. So the first element of the resultant matrix will be 1 plus t plus half t square, 1 plus t plus 0.5 t square. The second element of the first row will be 0 plus 0 plus 0, that is 0. Now, the first element of the second row will be 0 plus t square, so t plus t square. And the second element of the second row will be 1 plus t plus 0.5 t square again. So if you compute a cube and a square, since A is a 2 by 2 matrix, so the first element has been represented by 511, this is 512, this is 521, 522. Now 511, it will be clear if you can compute a cube a to the power 4, and you will find that it will converge, and it will be simply e to the power t. This one is 0, and again this one will be e to the power t. And as I said, if you can compute a cube e to the power 4, then this term will be clear. And if you take t common, this one will be 1 plus t plus 0.5 t square. So this term 521 will be t into e to the power t. So I guess now you can understand that why this method is not a very appropriate method or very suitable method. So phi t, the resulting state transition matrix phi t will be equal to e to the power t0 t into e to the power t e to the power t. And moreover, in this case, since the state transition or the system is a second order system, and hence the state transition matrix is, sorry, the system matrix is a 2 by 2 matrix. That's why it's very easy to find out a square, and from a square very easily you will be able to compute a cube, right? But if the system is a third order system or fourth order system, then even computing a square will be a difficult and time consuming and tedious one. So the solution, we know that xt is equal to, if we take phi t common, then it will be within the bracket, we'll get x0. Remember, the first term was phi t into x0, and the second term was plus within the integration 0 to t phi t minus tau. Now we have taken phi t common, so within the bracket we are getting terms like x0 plus integration 0 to t phi minus tau bu tau d tau. Now, since the variable is tau over here, so that's why we have taken phi t out of this integration sign. So first let's evaluate this one. So phi minus tau bu. Phi minus tau means phi t is our state transition matrix that we have computed over here. So phi minus tau means all these t's should be substituted by minus tau. Hence, phi minus tau, this matrix will be e to the power minus tau 0 minus tau e to the power minus tau e to the power minus tau. What is B? The input matrix is given. The input matrix is 1, 1. That is our B matrix, right? So just multiply these two matrices. They are dimensionally coherent. So we can multiply this, and the resultant matrix, that means phi minus tau into bu. Since u is unit step, so u is equal to 1. So it will be e to the power minus tau, e to the power minus tau, 1 minus tau. Clear? Minus tau bu d tau. So that will be integration 0 to t e to the power minus t minus tau d tau, and integration 0 to t e to the power minus tau 1 minus tau d tau. So if you perform the integrations, since these are simple exponentials, e to the power minus t, e to the power minus t into 1 minus tau, so you'll be able to perform the integration very easily. So the first term will be 1 minus e to the power minus t if you put the limits, and the second term will be t e to the power minus t. Right? So xt will be e to the power at into, look at this equation, x0 plus this term. So we have already evaluated this part. So e to the power at, phi t is known to us, that is e to the power t0, t e to the power t, e to the power t. So this is our within bracket. The first term is x0, that is the initial condition, and it's given in the problem that the initial condition is 1, 0 plus this term, right? That is 1 minus e to the power minus t, t e to the power minus t. So now if you multiply and if you evaluate, then you'll find xt to be equal to 2 e to the power t minus 1 and 2t to the power t. So please do this problem and check whether the values are correct or not. So that means x1t will vary. X1t is certainly a time function, and the function is given by 2 e to the power t minus 1, and x2t again a time function, and is given by 2t to the power t, right? So since we know x1t and x2t, so we can plot x1t and x2t, and the complete time response of the system will be clear to us. Now, for the exam purpose, we'll use this method computation, or if you want to evaluate the solution xt, then it's better to go for this Laplace transform based method. So, computation of state transition matrix by Laplace transform method. So, first, again, the homogeneous or unforced system or autonomous system described by a set of homogeneous equation. So, x dot t is equal to ax, and linear time invariant system. So, A is a constant matrix having a dimension n by n. So, if we take the Laplace transform of this equation, in the left hand side, we'll get s into xs minus x0. x0 again a column vector depicting the initial conditions, will be equal to a into xs, right? Now, we'll take this one in the right hand side and we'll shift this one into in the left hand side. Sorry. So in the left hand side, we'll get sxs minus axs, and in the right hand side, we'll get x0. So if you want to subtract axs from sxs, then along with s, we'll be needing one identity matrix with a dimension n by n, and in the left hand side, we'll get si minus axs, and the right hand side, that will be equal to x0. Okay, so xs is si minus a inverse into x0. Clear? So if we take Laplace inverse of this equation, then our purpose will be served, because if we take the Laplace inverse of the left hand side, we'll get Laplace inverse of xs, that means xt, and to find out xt, we'll have to take the Laplace inverse of the right hand side. So xt, the complete time response of the system, will be equal to Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse into x0, right? So if we compare this equation with the previous one, then it's clear. We have already seen that for autonomous system, unforced system, the solution is xt is equal to e to the power at into x0. Can you recall? Can you recall, or do I have to show the equation again? Please respond.
No, ma'am, I can recall.
So e to the power at was our state transition matrix. So if we compare, then we can say that Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse, this entire thing is nothing but the state transition matrix, which is equal to e to the power at, or which can be denoted by the symbol phi t, right? So xt is equal to e to the power at into x0. So e to the power at is Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse. So phi t, the state transition matrix, is equal to e to the power at, which is, as we discussed, Laplace inverse si minus a inverse, or si minus a inverse is in transform domain, right? So that can be written as phi s, right? So this is Laplace inverse of phi s, and this phi s, this phi is this particular matrix in the transform domain is called the resolvent matrix. So phi s is equal to Si minus A inverse is called the resolvent matrix. And Laplace inverse of the resolvent matrix is our state transition matrix. Now let us consider a forced system, non-autonomous system where there is one input vector acting or some input forces, control forces acting on the system, right? So in that case, the state equation will be given by x dot is equal to ax plus bu. Again, we'll take the Laplace transform of this particular equation. So it will be s xs minus x0, just like the previous case. And in the right hand side, we'll get axs plus bus. That means the Laplace transform of the input. So again, after side transposition, we'll get Si minus A xs, which is equal to x0 in the right hand side. After side transposition, we'll get the first term as x0 and the second term will be bus, and the right hand side will be x0 plus bus. So xs will be Si minus A inverse into x0 plus Si minus A inverse into B into US. Clear?
Clear, ma'am.
So xt, we'll have to find out xt, that is our goal. So for xt, we'll have to take the Laplace inverse of this equation. So xt will be Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse x0 plus Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse bus, or Laplace inverse of phi s into x0 plus Laplace inverse of phi s into bus, or Laplace inverse of phi s is nothing but phi t, our state transition matrix, into x0 plus, in this case, Laplace inverse of phi s into bus. First, we'll have to multiply this, we'll have to evaluate this, then we'll have to take Laplace inverse. So that's why we cannot write Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse, or we cannot write this one as phi t. Is it clear?
Clear, ma'am.
So an example, the previous one, this is our state system matrix 1 0 0 0. So Si minus A, the first one is the identity matrix multiplied by S. So the elements will be S0 0 S minus A, and the elements are 1 0 1 1. So that will be equal to S minus 1, the second term of the first row will be 0, this one will be minus 1, and this term will be again S minus 1. So since we'll have to perform Si minus, or we'll have to find out the matrix Si minus A inverse, that means first we'll have to find out the determinant of Si minus A. So the determinant of Si minus A, in this case, you see, it's very straightforward, that is Si minus 1 whole square. So determinant Si minus A is equal to Si minus 1 whole square. So the resolvent matrix Si minus A inverse, not the determinant one, the resolvent matrix is Si minus A inverse. So phi A, Si minus A inverse will be adjoint Si minus A by determinant Si minus A. So already we have computed the determinant. So 1 by Si minus 1 whole square. This is a very simple matrix, and very easily you can find out the adjoint, cofactors, and then transpose, right? Am I correct? Agree?
Yes.
Okay. So phi s will be this one divided by this. So 1 by s minus 1, this is 0. This one will be 1 by s minus 1 whole square, and this one will be 1 by s minus 1. Since we are quite familiar with Laplace transform and inverse Laplace transform, and we know the formulae, so it will be really helpful for us if you go for this particular method. So phi t, that means the state transition matrix, is Laplace inverse of phi s, the resolvent matrix. That means Laplace inverse, just a moment, Laplace inverse of 1 by s minus 1. This one is 0, Laplace inverse of this one, and Laplace inverse of this one. Very simple. So this one will be e to the power t, this is 0. Since this one is 1 by s minus 1 whole square, hence this one will be Laplace inverse of this will be t into e to the power t, and this will be e to the power t. So this is our state transition matrix phi t, e to the power t 0, t e to the power t, e to the power t. Clear? Now once we can find out the state transition matrix, we can very easily find out the response of the system. Simply in this particular manner, right? Okay. So again, solve this particular example using this particular technique, and not only the state transition matrix, find out the solution xt. That is your assignment. Okay. Do you have any question? Do you have any question?
No, ma'am.
আজকে কতজন? 31, আমাকে বাদ দিলে 30 জন, ক্রমশ কমছে। আচ্ছা, স্টেট স্পেস অ্যানালিসিস